Hello there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Hail to the Chin podcast, the companion podcast that runs alongside the Ash vs. Evil Dead television show. We specialise in Ash vs. Evil Dead, but we also specialise in the Evil Dead franchise, as any Evil Dead fan would. I'm joined with my usual hosts, Sam and Steve. Hi, guys.
Hello.
How are we doing?
I'm really great, thank you.
Samuel?
Yeah, I'm good.
Trucking along.
Yeah, excited about this episode. So.
Yeah, very excited.
Space trucking along.
I'm going to save it, but to me, this episode seemed fairly different from the rest of them, in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel, but hopefully I'll be able to express that when we watch it. But have we got anything to say? Have we got anything to say before we crack along? Sam jumping out of his skin there.
You shut up there, Sam. You shut up. You get back in your corner and you don't speak until you're spoken to.
I found it, I don't know, I was like, although it's, the second part of a two-part, I think it's because the pacing was different. I was at the start, I was a bit sort of rattled. Not rattled, that's the wrong word, but, I was a bit like, oh, this... what's going on? It felt really different to me, and I didn't. But then, sort of about halfway through, it just clicked. Yeah. But as we said, it's especially part two of a two-part episode. Yeah. So it didn't have the introduction, sort of like lead-in that the other episodes had. But overall, it's definitely up there in my top episodes so far. There's been sort of less good episodes, if that makes sense. I don't want to say worse episodes because none of them are bad.
Let's good out of 5.
I was going to say, yeah, we're five episodes into the series now, and we've got 5 more left. Like you were saying, Sam, it felt slightly different, obviously, because it's a two-parter. Steve, did anything sort of, without giving a lot away, did anything sort of stand out a bit different with you?
Not really. To be honest, I would disagree that it was a two-parter because this whole series is basically a 5+ hour sort of like feature of Ash versus Evil Dead.
Basically say that on Twitter before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. it's Ash versus Evil Dead, 5 hours long, and it's cut up into segments. So, because like I've said, like I even said it last episode, I think it doesn't follow that standard series formula where each episode has a 3-act structure within the 3-act structure of a season, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
With a creature of the week or baddie of the week episode thrown in to extend the series. Yeah,
typical Scooby-Doo episodes.
Yeah, you take everything, like even the X-Files did it as well. They had the overriding story arc of the season. Then they'd have 2-parters that would have obviously, and they'd have the story, the 3 acts, the beginning, the middle, and the end. Whereas this is, there's a beginning, a middle, and end, but we're watching it in 30-minute segments when you sit back once it's on DVD and Blu-ray, and I really hope Starz listens to this and releases it on DVD Blu-ray as just at least the option of saying view all, and it just runs as one piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there will be some ups and downs where there'll be like obvious conclusions to a segment, but ultimately you could watch it as one 5-hour Evil Dead movie.
That's exactly what I was thinking as you was explaining it. I was like, you could literally blend every single episode together, and it would I doubt very much you'd be able to even notice where an episode started or technically ended.
Yeah, it wouldn't take. I think some of the episodes like naturally blend in a lot easier. Some of them don't, but it wouldn't take much for a bit of editing or just a simple transition or fade to black, and then the next one starts without the previously on.
Yeah,
and you're done, and that's how I'm viewing it. I'm viewing it because I had a discussion on Twitter about it last night as well. That I view it as just one continuous piece. So each episode doesn't have to stick to the network sort of cliches that you would have to for a series. That's all I'm saying. I'm loving it.
Oh, interesting. I like that we get a bit of diversity on this show anyway. So, nevertheless, chaps, are we all ready to press play?
In it.
Sam, as usual, with the countdown, sir.
Everyone got the Starz Original Presents.
Oh, yes.
On their screen. Okay. So,
you as well.
Play.
Play. No, don't play. Don't play. Not yet.
3, 2, 1, and play.
Bum, bum, bum. Stars
Is it okay if I play too early?
Oh, nice little typical catch up.
Never gets old seeing Lucy Lawless beat up people.
Oh no, man.
Oh,
Lovely
no,
decapitating scene.
I mean, obviously, Lucy Lawless is playing Ruby Noby.
Mm-hmm.
That's a character from, like, you know, basically the franchise, from deep in the franchise, because obviously she's a sister, and
Of
she's
Annie,
of Annie, and she's out for revenge. But is anyone starting to feel really kind of sorry for, like, you know, Amanda Fisher's character, Jill Mary Jones, like Amanda Fisher, because, you know, everyone's like, yeah, Pablo, yeah, Kelly, yeah.
The cop, yeah, her.
And she's just like kind of just stuck in the middle.
On the wayside at the moment.
But again, if you watch this as a 5-hour movie, it won't feel like that.
I love this. Can I just say, just listening to Ash in the background while they're talking is fucking so funny.
He's like,
Not talking down everything they're saying.
I think the Amanda Fisher character's got obviously big things are coming, aren't they? So
there has to be, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't introduce a character so heavily.
Well, she had the big opening as well.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I just love this because you basically got an actor who is famous for being a big, loud mouth, and yet he's still so integral to a scene and still so fucking funny, delivering lines through a gag.
Yeah,
it's like
his literally main tool of product is, well, essentially blocked up, isn't it? Yeah, but still, he sounds so vocal and his abbreviations are brilliant. You just hear him in the background. Oh, fuck up.
But it's the great comedy as well, you know. So, like, you know, get me my knife, you know, not the bread knife. It's because she's just fucking a legend.
Yeah,
absolute legend.
Not a fucking witch doctor, are you? I can't get over Ash. It's so funny.
You see, watching a scene like this as well, though, and like the whole of like last episode, am I like the only one that thinks that out of nowhere you could have like Bill and Ted show up in this show and like no one would bat an eyelid? It would just,
exactly.
It would just it would make sense because it's just such a fun show.
Yeah. So many different dimensions and universes that it could easily just conflict with.
Oh, Dean, your girlfriend's gone evil.
I think my wife listens to these podcasts now.
Yeah.
Rachel's heavily into the series. She like loves it, like absolutely loves it now.
She'll have
So
to be my
careful
girlfriend
what I
until
say.
my wife starts listening.
Sorry, mate.
So I said she'll be my girlfriend until my wife starts listening.
Yeah. But can we agree that evil Dana though?
Mm-hmm.
Like evil Kelly all day.
All day. What do you mean by that, Dean?
We prefer her than like normal Kelly, wouldn't we? Evil Kelly is so much cooler.
But I'm sorry, Dean. I don't understand the all day. I don't get it. Can you?
Isn't Pablo very great in this?
I love how like they just reel you in for them sort of like jump scares, even though they're not really jump scares. You know, like, oh, she's in the background. Pablo goes to the side, looking out the window, and you just know she's just going to be there when he turns around.
Yeah,
but he just reels you straight in.
There's a couple of them occurred, didn't they?
There's a lot. You know it's coming, and it's not done in a really cliche, cheesy way, but it is. But at the same time, it's not.
It's just Evil Dead for you, you know.
Exactly.
You know someone's going to grab him from the basement. You know, like the body's going to jump up, or you know,
the head's going to twist round and then twist itself round. You know,
something's going to come through the window or the doors and grab Ash when he's leaning against it, going, "Phew."
Ash's giant condom.
Oh God.
I tell you what, the endingness of this episode, like the last scene, almost matches the first episode for me. Though we'll discuss it when we get there.
Yeah,
I was just like, oh.
such brilliant chemistry between Kelly and Pablo as well, even as actors, for the fact of that now Pablo's essentially getting what all of the audience want him to get, but his character just completely changes. He's not being the Pablo that you kind of are expecting him to be, like to grab it by the balls and go with it, whereas he's not. He's just being cowardice still.
I think as well that the fact of like the location shooting had a part in that as well, because it's not like they were shooting in LA. Or they're doing their downset, going home, or things like that. They were literally out here for how long did they say? Like a couple of months or something.
Yeah, a couple of months. Yeah,
it was like 8 weeks or something. And they were literally, you know, they shoot all day together, and then, you know, on their time out or anything like that, they've only got to hang out with each other, really, haven't they?
Yes, yeah.
They've got no family or friends or.
Yeah, I mean, you've only got to look at the Lord of the Rings, like behind the scenes, to see the same kind of thing. You shoot out of New Zealand.
Much less than that.
No, but you look
behind the scenes of a boring film.
But you watch the DVDs of Lord of the Rings, and you watch the cast videos and stuff, their diaries and the making of, and when they wrapped, they were out there. They were out there, and they became a family. So by going, like you say, on location that far, you bring the actors together even more than you could ever do, even if you just went like 20 miles down the road.
Like the point
I cannot wait to see when Ash meets his hand again. This is going to be such a good scene. I'm so anticipating it. I like as well how they're gradually incorporating Army of Darkness into the series, like in the most legal way possible.
Well, again, that's the thing, isn't it? So like, people say, oh, the comedy's more like Army of Darkness, so the others. It's like, yeah, because Army of Darkness did happen. As we keep saying, they just can't really say it happened yet.
Yeah.
There's really no need for it as well to sit there and say, oh, I went back in time. He's probably spent the last 20 years saying, well, I can't talk about it because people are just going to report you to like a mental asylum, so why would I bring it up unless I need to?
Exactly. Would you, it's bad enough you're telling people that you've raised deadites from hell, and people believe you. You've going back in time, you're stretching the, suspension of disbelief a little bit. Seriously, Pablo, man, Pablo in this bit is
Pablo's acting there was like spot on. It was quality.
He's exactly what we would be like in this situation.
Absolutely.
But my God, he is one dumb head de puta.
I tell you, it did make me laugh the other day. I forgot he was in Meet the Fockers as Ben Stiller's son, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But he actually looked well like Ben Stiller in that film. In here, he looks nothing like Ben Stiller.
No.
Well, he's got the hair.
Yeah.
Now, calm down, Dean. Calm down. Calm down.
Professional here, Satch.
Don't be creeping.
As well that the circle turned into a square, resembling the Necronomicon. There, did anybody notice that?
No.
Hey. And as well, there's a few continuity errors in here.
I love Ash's reactions to this. Sorry. It's just like rolls his eyes, isn't it?
Yeah, even Brujo with like this sort of, you can see he's got the disappointing look in his face, like, oh crap, it's not working.
Now, I think, Dean, was that your favourite line or something, or was it Sam? Maybe share pussy, cat.
No, it's a pussy, cat.
Because I just don't think it would have been kind of like, Pablo to, say something kind of crude. He's not that kind of character.
I love the line there as well. There's something inside of me that can't wait to tear you apart.
Yeah.
I do love the subtlety, and it still isn't, the bliss still isn't sort of, it just isn't disturbing Pablo at all.
But this is one of those kind of scenes as well at this point where you sit and watch it, you start to think, you remember like Futurama, that whole snoo, death by snoo? I can't remember. Where they're on the planet the Amazonians or something. And basically they're sentenced to death, but death is via sex. So you look at this scene thinking,
hold on a minute. Yeah.
Oh, it's like no, but yes, but no, but yes, but no, but yes.
I like as well with Pablo. He's as the demon just clearly is like, man, this guy just cannot get himself out of the friend zone.
I fucking love that. Now I want to know what Taylor Swift song Pablo was thinking of.
I don't know why she just don't pick up the rifle and shoot him.
You think it would that would be the obvious thing, wouldn't it?
Well, because Eligos is a total nerd demon, so it preys on the weakness of others.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, and as they've said, it gets power from fear and all that stuff. So it can't just necessarily do something unless it wants to feed. It wants to feed on souls. So if it gets a soul to commit suicide, say.
I love this. Aside from everything going on, Ash is like my fucking group. I like it. It's just so good.
I love that little transition into
the zoom into the little lair sort of thing.
It keeps that Sam Raimi kind of like eye, doesn't it? You know, that's it. You know, the
it's
way
almost like the false going in, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love how as well, like repulsive they make Kelly's character. You know, like the big gums and teeth.
I was going to say, like we've been discussing, we're seeing Deadites in really different forms at the moment because obviously, like Steve has said many times, that at the end of the day, they're only in just a human body. So it's nice to see a Deadite with really messed up teeth like Kelly's, even pulling the tooth out. I think that was clear. Was that a nod in a way to when, I think it was not Linda, Shelley, chews off her hand in the cabin in Evil Dead 1, maybe?
Oh, yeah, she gets...
That's what I thought, anyway. It made me think of that.
It's just, because basically they're not concerned about what they're occupying, are they?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like you said, it's just literally a meat
vessel.
It's
just like, I love how it's just like, it's meant to like cure her, and then she's just like getting off to the fingers and sort of licks her gums, and it's like, it's just so like uneasy.
You've got the Ghostbusters kind of reference of like, there is no Dana, only Zool.
That's it.
There is no Kelly.
Yeah.
And you've got obviously, I don't know, I mean, like disgusting kind of Leech Man from Puppet Master references, but then you've got this Exorcist, kind of reference. And what I thought about when I first saw this, it was the same kind of thing as how in the first Evil Dead, there's the Hills Have Eyes poster, and obviously it's torn in half because that's the whole.
Evil Dead 2, Freddy Krueger's hand.
Yeah.
The ode to Wes Craven, isn't it?
Yeah. Evil Dead is more, whatever sort of like Hills Have Eyes, however much Hills Have Eyes scared you, Evil Dead will scare you more.
Yeah.
And this bit, like obviously Kelly, so like it's just going to stand there and like piss herself, which is a reference to how piss your pants scary The Exorcist was. And Ash is like, yeah, whatever. Because Ash is beyond The Exorcist. The Exorcist was a cinematic masterpiece that terrified audiences. But Ash is that kind of character, like, whatever.
Seen it. I know this happens, sort of thing. And I think the demon plays well as being an occupant in not, trying to sort of unconvince or to convince the rest of them, like, is it Kelly? Is it the demon? Is it Kelly? Is it the demon? Very smart.
I mean, Deadites have always been absolute geniuses, though, haven't they? Manipulating people and that. But they've also all been really dumb, to be honest, as well. But
yeah. So you're definitely right, Steve, with the whole Exorcist nod. Like definitely.
I mean, to be honest, before Evil Dead, you had certain other films, but Exorcist was probably I mean, well, hell, it's one. I think it's the only horror in history to ever be nominated for an Oscar. That was the big one to kind of meet, and I think that ultimately, considering like Exorcist 2 and 3,
the old neck crack in there as well.
Yeah, the neck cracking. Yeah.
Evil Dead proved to be a more sort of like a viable franchise. It had better characters that you could actually generate into. Well, I mean, Christ, we're watching a show about a guy with a chainsaw for a hand, and it doesn't look out of place.
I just wanted to point out the awesome sort of like organs.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing.
Like old fucking like Hammer horror haunted house style music, when it like a
really. It's just all so perfect. It just pays homage to so much, but in almost cheesy horror ways, but not. It's just the Raimi way at the end of the day, isn't it? It's very, very Drag Me to Hell, because Drag Me to Hell worked very well with music.
Yeah,
it takes nods from a lot of horror just in general. But I mean, like even obviously in in the Evil Dead, and obviously there was a lot of stuff they hung up, didn't they, from the ceiling?
Yeah,
because they were like, oh, they had like sort of dead birds and stuff and weird sort of like things hanging from the ceiling in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
This was a very special scene, I felt, in the story, because obviously Kelly and Ash aren't exactly the best of friends, and I think this really, really done a lot to their characters together. With Ash pointing the gun, Kelly saying, "Put a cross on my grave," and Ash really grit through his teeth as well, like, she's Jewish, fuck you.
But it's very similar to the other scenes that Ash has gone through with, like Linda, when he's about to kill her, and then she turns back,
and the remorse sets in.
Yeah.
It's really special though, because you can, although he's connecting with Kelly, you can see at the same time through his acting, his body language, you can see he's taking a massive care into Pablo as well. That you look at it, he's like, I'm killing this guy's like want to be girlfriend sort of thing. He'll never forgive me, and at the same time, I care for this girl, and I've got her into this mess.
Well, I said in the last episode, in the Brujo one, that I think we're going to see a softer side and a more emotional side of Ash in the series, for the fact that he's a loner, and he has lived for, in Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, it's basically set within, a short period, whereas this is, 25 years later.
Yeah, 30 years later. Yeah. Great piece there. That made my chest cringe when I first saw this.
I mean, he has. If you think about Ash's age, he's been alone. He lost all of his friends, basically. He lost his life, his hopes and his dreams, like 35 years ago.
And the fact that he hasn't been settled, has he? He's just been driving around almost like an unsettled soul.
Yeah.
What an incredible... Just Raimi does it again, though, with just that hand pushing up through the chest and neck, and the demon forcing its way out of her mouth.
Well, they've looked at, obviously, Raimi is sort of like on the ball. They've looked at other horror films. They've looked at other Raimi work, and they just got this. They've got a consistent idea of what they want to achieve.
Yeah. When the demon sort of like screamed at them, I could hear. I could hear the like the arachnid screams from Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hear.
It's like a sort of thing.
Do you know what I really like the sound of? It's simple. Oh, hold on. The particular scene when Ash talking to himself.
It's very Army of Darkness, that as well.
Oh yeah, even the expression on his face, just the cheeky smile.
But I don't understand what people would actually expect, because at the end of the day, the character of Ash has developed from Evil Dead 1, where he was a coward and just basically the guy we got left with, to Evil Dead 2, where he went groovy, to Army of Darkness, where he went fucking badass awesome.
What?
So it's just the same. It's the exact same character.
Yeah.
It's the thing you don't realise.
In a progression.
Is it that when he puts his mind to it, he is badass.
Yeah, he is badass. He is smart.
But he's conflicted because, he was the nerd, wasn't he? He was the nerd in Evil Dead, and he's been forced into situations that he's had to deal with, and then he's lost a whole part of his life. And with this show, he's responsible for it. But at the same time, he's a badass and he needs to kill the Deadites. But he has friends, so he can't be as cold and, just killing off them when they get possessed as he might want to be.
I love that when Dana wakes up as well. Not Dana, sorry, Kelly. You don't see that in films when someone's possessed or been taken over or anything like that. The first thing she says, she doesn't know where she is, but she's like, ow.
Yeah.
She's had the demons like smashing her head. It crawled out of her mouth.
I love as well the typical continuity, how like Kelly's just got a spare pair of clothes.
Yeah.
Pablo's probably still got some clothes in Brujo's house from like years ago or whatnot. But Ash, he's just managed to just whack his shirt and jeans in the wash and just washed all of the Deadite off of him.
They did do that before they decided to burn it.
Yeah, he decided to burn the body. A bit of housekeeping needed.
Very Star Wars, this.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly.
Yeah,
Hayden
and the flutes as well,
up in the background. Yeah,
it's like it is very Return of the Jedi.
But this scene really actually goes more into Sergio Leone. Do you The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
Yeah,
and Fistful of Dollars. Man, the music and the way Pablo's exit from this is pure spaghetti western, and I
Quick in the Dead style.
I couldn't believe it. I absolutely loved it. This was like, oh my god, such a great reference.
See, this was, I remember, I'm sure we spoke, I'm sure it was Ray that mentioned this to us in his interview about a particular necklace, because he brought what it was either Dana or that. I can't figure which one it was, either Ray or Dana, but one of them mentioned a necklace appearing.
Well, there was a necklace, and Kelly keeps talking. Well, Dana keeps talking about her rings.
That's it. Yeah, I didn't notice her rings this episode.
It was the same as the last episode, but she says at the end it's different, right at the end.
Ah.
But I always forget to look.
I fucking love. I love this. This is. Oh my god, Clint Eastwood could be walking across this scene, and it's just. Oh, the music is just straight. Like, was it Ennio Morricone?
Well, it says on IMDb the soundtrack was performed by Ted Nugent and Derek St. Holmes. It's got when you think about Ted Nugent, it sort of says it all, really, doesn't it?
Probably over like this and the organs, so obvious and like stand out so much. I still can't get over how big the caravan is inside.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's as wide as the car when they're driving along, but look how wide it is when they're sitting in there.
It's kind of cool that, again, how the characters just blow off what happened.
Yeah.
But
not like it would stun any normal person.
Yeah. People would be like, oh, but it's not realistic. It's like, yeah, we'll go watch something else. This is, if you've watched any of the Evil Dead trilogy or any of the Sam Raimi films that he's done, like,
the same snobs who watch, like, I mean, I like it, but they're like American Horror Story. They'll be like, I love American Horror Story. But then they'll sit there and slag this off. But
yeah.
It's entertainment at the end of the day.
Entertainment, exactly.
Well, the great thing is as well, though, my wife loves American Horror Story, but then at the same time she loves Ash vs Evil Dead, so at least we've got someone there.
Well, I like them both, so I'm a big fan of them both. So you can like two different things.
Yeah.
Because they're different things. That's the point, isn't it? It's like, you're not watching three of the exact same show.
If something's entertaining, I'll watch it. I fucking
exactly.
love it.
And you watch Ash for this.
It's just
why
pure
you watch
Ash,
it.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Groovy, it's just fucking awesome.
It's like what he says when he puts it on. He's like, I'm gonna stick this, and then he like tops it off.
It's even got like the cranking and like the fitting shots that he does in Army of Darkness too. Baby.
He might as well have said, basically, fuck
and
you.
he does the old finger as well. So
yeah. He might have said, I can't have my mechanical hand. Well, fuck you, because technically this
needs to be the thumbnail of this episode, where he's just sticking the finger up and he's got that look on his face of like,
You can't copyright an electronic hand.
No.
So fuck you. Universal with your rights.
Yeah.
So what was on Dana's rings though? This episode,
Well,
I couldn't see it.
I don't know. I think at this point though, towards the end when they're driving down the highway, they should have turned off, and the Mustang with
Well, that's what I was
Ruby and Amanda
expecting.
should have like sped by just to keep them in kind of
The viewer in check. That
where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they're gonna maybe turn not turn Pablo against Ash, but you know they were saying about what's her name? Lucy Lawless' character was saying to Amanda's character like, oh, about Ash just leaves a trail of bodies, you know, in his wake, and he was, you know, obviously they're going to stumble across the Brujo. So, you know,
is Ray going to be held accountable for, or
no, I don't know, but maybe like something's going to happen. They're going to like get hold of Ray and be like, well, you know, he's a bad man. This is all his fault. Your uncle's dead, and all.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what, because in my sort of world, or in my head, but the way, one thing that I would really, really like to see, I know it sounds strange, but I just would like to see Ash being held accountable for all of these people that are now dead from the cabin, from Evil Dead 2 and 1 and 2, and even now it makes me wonder how he just happens to have evaded the fact that he went to a cabin with all of his friends, but now they're all dead, and like there's
season 2 is just a big courtroom drama.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. It would just be like a huge courtroom. Like it would kind of, I think viewers would enjoy seeing that, if like, because it would also be paying homage to like all of the past characters as well.
I think that's a really good thing, obviously, where he's been on the run for so long, because you got
it's
you think about it, you know, his girlfriend and 4 friends are dead. His girlfriend and 3 friends went missing, and then obviously Annie and Obi went missing, Jake and Bobby Joe went missing, along with Evil Ed as well.
So it's, in my opinion, when you think of it in a logical term, isn't someone sitting there tapping their fingers on like a detective desk somewhere going, fucking hold on a minute, there's about 8 bodies missing at the moment that we need to track down, and this guy's still alive.
You know, people go missing all the time, don't they? So, you know, it's whether they catch up to them. And I guess that will kind of come to a head when obviously Lucy Lawless catches up with old Brucey. So
far, though, it's been bloody eventful, and it's almost like it almost calmed down. Like it's as if that end transition out of the episode felt to me like it was, they were trying to sort of calm down this little 2-bit that's just occurred with meeting the Brujo, and
it was the end of an act, wasn't it?
It was like as if it was the end of an act. But I kind of agree with Steve saying that I was expecting the Mustang just to pull along the side of the road, as if to sit there and say, okay, now they're going on their next journey to like wherever this is taking them, and then like it'll be but oh no, Lucy Lawless is right behind you.
It's like the Mustang. They turn off and the Mustang goes flying past, because it's like they're just behind, but they're always one step behind. Yeah. So by the time they get to Brujo's, they'll find that, and then they're always just that one day behind until something, clicks, and it sort of like twists around when they're like right up, Ash's ass.
Yeah. Well, the next episode we've got coming up is called The Killer of Killers. Now, I try to read into titles myself, and I don't know I don't know where that goes.
Ash is the killer of killers?
Yeah, but is it Ash? Is it referring the book?
It's got to be...
It's Ruby, isn't it? Ruby. Yeah. She wants to kill Ash.
It's going to be Ruby and Amanda focus, I reckon, because, the killer of killers, they want to kill the killer.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that. I guess I was just looking at it.
It makes sense, because this is basically wrapped up their first act, the first storyline in the show. They've got rid of the demon, now they can go continue their adventure. So it makes perfect sense.
It's middle of the season, 10 episodes. Episode.
Is this having a mid-season break, or?
I don't think so. The next episode airs on the 5th of December, so I wouldn't call it much of a break.
No, is it going to not break up between? What does it say? Let's have a look at Trusty.
No, like a lot of shows like Supernatural, that they take Thanksgiving off for a week, come back, and they do a January break as well. This isn't doing a break. This will just be 10 episodes straight through.
Which
It's got an average rating on IMDb at the moment. I just want to talk about the franchise as well, just quickly.
9.1. It's dropped from
9.1 after 5 episodes. It's
dropped from 9.2 though.
Oh, come on.
Some people didn't like this episode because I guess they, were like a little bit let down. But at the same time, it's a long story. It's it's not, it's telling a long story. It's not telling, get you invested, ramp you up, climax per episode. It's just a natural progression of their journey.
The thing is, though, now it's like I see the same with sort of like the Jurassic Park franchise, like the fans and that they feel like they're personally owed something, and if something doesn't 100% fit their criteria, then they'll go online and they'll voice their anger and things like that. But
I want it this way and
and it's like, you've got to remember, it's not just you, mate, that is a fan. There's a million different fans out there, a million different people like different things about the show,
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of stuff that I mean, what's your, like Steve, for example, what is your favourite of the Evil Dead trilogy?
My favourite film?
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2, but I really couldn't separate too much from Army of Darkness or the first one either, because it's a trilogy. To me, there isn't really a favourite. My favourite act is probably Evil Dead 2, just because, I love the way Ash becomes this sort of badass like hero. But overall,
I mean, my argument's probably going to be irrelevant here because we're probably all going to say Evil Dead 2. But there's a lot of people out there that love the first one the most, and there's a lot of people out there that love the third one the most.
Yeah, it's like you heard the Comic-Con panel. A lot of people got. A lot of the reaction came from when they said, "Who's a fan of Army of Darkness?"
Yeah,
because the first direct, so that's very interesting.
Yeah, but a lot of people though, so at Comic-Con would have been the first film in the trilogy they saw would have been Army of Darkness, and they traced it back to the roots, and then they probably saw Evil Dead 2 and maybe Evil Dead 1 or Evil Dead 1 then 2, depending on how they could get their hands on the copies. Yeah. So if you were like 10 years old, or around, say you were around 10 years old in 1992, 93, and Army of Darkness comes on the TV, I mean, you're going to love that. You're going to love it. It's got everything. It's got Ray Harryhausen style stop motion effects. It's got comedy. It's got just enough blood and gore to let your parents watch it. Yeah, so your parents watch it, your parents to let you watch it.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's action. It's magical, isn't it? It's a beautiful, and all this. It's got the sets. Everything about it is perfect. For someone who wants to step up, from Neverending Story to something a little bit more adult. So if you watch that, it's going to have a very nostalgic place in your heart, and then you'll go back and watch 2 and 3, 2 and 1.
I think the thing that matters the most is that it's the ratings. Obviously, it has been, given the green light for season 2, but obviously the first episode would have massive ratings, as most series do. But obviously, and then it had the drop. But each week it's been getting bigger and bigger. And actually, I mean, the ratings are not in for that episode we just watched, but the Brujo episode was actually 10% more viewers than the pilot. So
serious?
Yeah. The pilot had 0.437 million, so 437,000 viewers.
Yeah.
And the Brujo had 448. That's not 10%, but I don't know. I looked at it wrong. I was looking at 4.4.
What the fuck's looking at? What you're saying is that the ratings have gone up since the pilot.
Yes, well, basically since episode 2, they've been climbing. Which, but I did have a look the other day at some other Stars shows and that, and it matches, if not now, especially if this week goes up again, it's better than any other Stars series' ratings.
Well,
some quite sort of high-profile shows on there as well.
What you got to remember as well, it's not a network.
Yeah,
it's a subscription channel like HBO. So
you think 500,000 is not a lot, but when it's people actually paying like a premium to watch it than it is, you know.
And you'll probably find that at least probably 50% have probably purchased the subscription just to watch this show. So the ratings aren't high, but your retention rate and your engagement rate is better than probably most shows, because anyone can like flick on the television and watch. If like, do you mean you got Arrow and stuff? Yeah, they're a network. It's a network show, so you can flick on and watch it anytime you want. But if you've got to purposefully go out and subscribe, that means it's popular. It's got something about it. If you want to pay to watch these shows,
yeah, which I think, well, it just seems to be that, well, judging by ratings, you don't really need to, don't really need an answer. People are enjoying it at the end of the day, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, episode 6 coming up on the 5th of December, I think that was, or the 6th of December, The Killer of Killers. Excited for it, and so far the series is just, it isn't letting up at all. It really isn't letting up. Anything before we go, guys? Any last words?
No, I'm gonna start dropping the Evil Dead franchise interviews this week, because we've only got the Astro's Evil Dead ones on the feed at the moment. Actually, none of them are actually on the Twitter feed. The iTunes feed. So I'm gonna put the Dana and Ray Santiago ones up. And then, I mean, I'm probably going to drop, who should we drop first? Danny Hicks first?
Yeah. Drop Jake.
Yeah, we'll put his up first this week. So
let's
keep an eye.
Drop Jake.
So yeah, keep an eye on our YouTube channel. What is it? Have we got a URL for it yet, or just search How to the Chin Podcast?
Yeah.
On anything, any platform really. Just search that and you'll find us.
Absolutely. Steve, anything else?
Just want to give a shout out to some friends on Twitter. You've got Fuck Yeah Bruce Campbell, which is, you know, a great
big fan.
It's a great Twitter and Tumblr feed. So and Disgruntled Bill, just for this week's Ash vs Evil Dead, you know, sort of Twitter chats and sharing some shit.
Oh, cool. Anyway, you can get us on Twitter at Hail to the Chin. That's number 2, as I've said several episodes, but I have to keep saying it. Hail to number 2. The Chin. Yeah, as Sam said as well, on YouTube or on most platforms, Hail to the Chin Podcast. But yeah, until next time, guys. What's that? Catch you on the flip flop. That's the one, isn't it?
Movie.
There must be some spell I can say to undo all this. The other first thing I gotta do is some cardio, because my heart is jackhammering like a quarterback on prom night. Here's the plan. We bust in there, fight through the carnage, let the boomstick do the talking. Things get hairy, use your bottle.
I don't think it's a very good weapon, Hefe. You had to stab like 50 times.
I was sharpening it for you. Now, come on. You ready?
I'm ready.